Thank you for agreeing to talk with me today. Sarcastic chorus.
No worries. Always down to talk to other people, especially
Especially,
because the world is shit right now, and the circle of friends you have to talk about this kind of stuff is just getting smaller and smaller. It feels like.
yeah, especially animation, that people don't realize that, yeah, animation, anyone can enjoy it, and there's especially tailored animation for adults that's not just
Mhm.
all blood and sex jokes.
Which, yes, that is Helluva Boss, but
But
it's
it's.
very good blood and sex jokes.
Yeah. Starting with the pilot, as I was rewatching it, I was solely focusing on Millie, and I saw, like, I just jot down some quick notes that she's enthusiastic, she's optimistic, loves killing, just
Mm-hmm.
over the moon about it, and is, of course, adorable with Moxie, infatuated. They're so cute, hopeless romantics.
Mm-hmm.
But that's pretty much it, as much as I could talk about her in the pilot.
Mm. So the one weird thing that I did notice about Millie in the pilot is that A, she doesn't really have a southern accent, except for two lines at the end.
Oh,
Like because they didn't have the same voice actress they have in the original. She actually shares a voice actress with Luna in the pilot.
mm-hmm.
So like that wasn't that much of a it wasn't very prevalent. One thing that I especially knows, like especially going through the first two episodes, is that the first pilot, I always want to call them episodes because that's what they always feel like to me. But the pilot itself, it really sets up Millie as being super nice. She's super caring. She is the one who's like, I'm supportive wife. I'm also the badass. But it's hard because you have Moxie, who has beef with almost the rest of the cast. Like he gets shit on by Blitz. He has fights with Luna. Then we have Millie, who seems to have something against Luna, but it's not very like prevalent because they're not actively arguing like Moxie and Blitz are. But Blitz, she is 100% fine. Like she's like completely like, oh no, it's cool. My boss is in my fridge. We'll just keep going. Oh, he's filming us. Oh, that's fine. That's quirky. So I kind of just get the vibe that one of the big problems Millie has is he kind of doesn't have like that antagonism with any of the rest of the cast. Weird as it is, I know I don't want like people like, oh, the women are fighting each other. Luna and Millie don't get along. I feel like Millie kind of needs someone to be up against. Yeah, as is, she's just like, oh no, supportive to Moxie, and just kind of like rolls with everything else. Which I feel like that just kind of is what takes her out of law scenes and makes her a bit of an observer when a lot of the jokes and a lot of the banter is going on in the office.
Yeah, I like to call her, these kind of characters, a yes or just a tag along character. It's
Mm-hmm.
she has no friction against anyone else. She goes with the flow. It's like, okay, we see what Blitz is motivated by with his company and to show that he's not just like some lowly imp, and he's got a lot going on. Moxie, theatrical, soft boy, but wants to prove himself. Luna, I didn't care much for Luna until she got her own episode, and we
Mm-hmm.
got to see like more about her and like her issues with Blitz, and she doesn't have friends, and like wow, that's a lot to speculate off of
Mm-hmm.
there. But like Millie, what motivates you outside your husband and essentially being a teacher's pet for your boss?
You were on Millie as a tag along character. Yeah, I definitely do get those vibes. Because I do feel like she has a similar place as Luna, to where I feel like she is one good episode away from having one Millie centric episode that could really like, okay, no, 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 it can knock away a lot of this. Like, oh no, she's such a tag along. But again, even if she gets that episode, she is such a non conflict character in the group that I really feel that that's the thing holding her back.
Let's like move on to talking about like the episodes, because especially in episode 5 I wanted to bring this up, but in episode 1 we see her like she's really dedicated to her job and like telling Moxie, Mox, no matter what, it's just our job to kill the client, just go along with it. And she's
Mm-hmm.
supportive of Moxie and Blitz, of course. But I noticed after like multiple rewatching, when they get to Earth to kill the family, all three of them jump into the bush. We don't see Millie at all between the whole exchange between Blitz and Moxie, but after they get caught, they all jump out. We see Millie jumps out too. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, where the hell was she in the bush? And like she could have
Mm-hmm.
she could have talked down Moxie too. She was literally just having this conversation with her husband, and
Mm-hmm.
when especially her power, I don't know, her strength or whatever is very flimsy to me, or just inconsistent, because she gets knocked out by this hillbilly in one episode but can take
Mm-hmm.
down a giant fish in the next, but gets again knocked out and kind of nerfed by Stryker. I just
She's a she's a glass cannon. She can deal a lot of damage, but she can't really take it. Is the best excuse I can give.
I didn't think of it like that.
But yeah, I remember laughing though because rewatching the first episode, I was like timing it. I was like, we get like about 40 seconds of Moxie with his whole shit, There's like a minute and 40 with Moxie and like, okay, how did he get captured? We get Blitz, like his call with Stolas. And Millie just is the first one, and it does feel like the afterthought of like, oh yeah, we have to get her captured too. So she gets hit in the face with a beer bottle by a hillbilly. Like there's no great jokes to it. There's no like punchy moment. It's just like, okay, no, we have a little bit of a scuffle here. And I think that part of the problem about Millie is like, if this was a more action-centric show, I hate to say it because this is all made online. It's not like an actual big fully produced studio.
Oh yes, definitely.
The fact that it doesn't have like the budget, the time to do like high quality like action scenes, it leaves Millie, the character that is main of her best moments, should be these action scenes, but they're not amazing action. So it just leaves her like her best qualities just kind of nerfed.
I agree. And as an independent project, especially for independent animation, and that shit takes a long ass time, I will not knock that for their team at all. Viv Pop and her team are amazing. But in terms of just writing and just characters, a little bit could have done some more chiseling or giving her something, I guess. But if Moxie's supposed to be a weapons expert, I assume Millie is more like the close combat. And since I guess since like episode 6 is going to be a longer episode and I guess more intense, and they showcased so much more growth in episode 5 that they even had like a really close, and I saw your video on it, that combat scene with Stryker. That opens the door for like more opportunities.
The episodes keep getting better and better. It's like, okay, no, this one's gonna take an extra month to make. Oh boy, they must be preparing something really cool.
They got that Patreon. They got that monies. I'll admit, I bought something from it. I support it. I support the hustle.
I bought Helluva Boss has been hotel gear way back, like a bunch of T-shirts. I was like, oh no, I'll give my money to this.
I bought the Addicts puzzle piece.
Yeah, totally. Also, episode 1 brings up something that you get hinted at in the pilot, is that it's weirdly just interesting is the fact that if you compare like of Moxie, Millie, and Blitz, Millie's more personality-wise is closer to Blitz than she is to Moxie. It's like, you get a lot of scenes of like Blitz is being funny, he's talking shit to like the hillbillies when they try to set them on fire, and she's just giggling. A lot of the shit that Blitz does that drives Moxie insane, she just like laughs off. It's like, oh, that's fun, that was cool. Like, I can't really tell if that's her being like supportive, or is the fact that she just isn't bothered by this. And then I almost had a nightmare dream of like, oh my god, please don't tell me they originally were trying to do a love triangle here. And I was like, yeah, can we not do that? But I do find it fun that of the characters, Blitz and Millie are actually more similar, just personality-wise.
Oh my gosh, you're right. I never noticed that. And like, even when they're tied up by the hillbillies, and Blitz is like, oh yeah, you can shoot us on our fucking heads. And she's like, Blitz, what the fuck? That's like the only moment of conflict you see with her and Blitz.
Because the one subtle thing that it's brought up in this episode and a little bit in the pilot is they hint at the fact that Millie and Luna don't fully get along. I'm trying to think back to it because I don't remember an instance where Millie calls Luna by her name. She always goes like, you're going to shoot our only hellhound. Or as we see in episode 5, oh yeah, this is my boss and this is his hellhound. I'm trying to think of an instance where Millie does call Luna by her name, but it doesn't come to me. So I feel like there is like that small, like it's not explored. But I feel like there is like some disagreement there, but it's just never really touched upon besides one-off lines. Again, it's like all very like under the surface subtext wise. So like most of you are not going to notice that. So then it's also going to contribute to Millie being underdeveloped also as a whole.
Well, that's all I had on episode 1. Is there anything else that you noticed?
That is it for episode 1. Episode 2 was Stolas, right? The theme park?
Yes, Lululand, and they actually had me caring for a horny owl and his daughter.
Oh yes, the owl rapist. That is a barely consensual relationship. It took me till episode 5 to be like, okay, so there's a semi-chance this could ever be healthy.
I was way off board from just the beginning, from just the pilot. I'm like, people can ship whatever they want, what else, but like, how do y'all see this as cute? Blitz clearly does not like him.
No. I also love the fact that in the pilot, Stolas has a different voice actor, and I just love how, like, comparing the two, like, they're actually perfect for the scenes that they're in. Where the first actor, like, it's very refined, it's very deep. So when he starts going crazy horny, it's like, oh, like, it's a way better shift. While the new guy that they have for the rest of the show, he is just dripping with horniness. I'm like, okay, no, this is better. Now that we know the joke, this is the way better voice to go.
I agree. So in this episode, they all go to, like, Lululand, and when Millie talks about her family used to come by here, and she loves this place, but when they can swing it, from that, I took it as, all right, Millie comes from like a low income, lower class family, and since imps are essentially second class citizens in their own right, that makes a lot of sense. And like, She talks about her parents, and since in episode 5 we see that her parents has a farm and she has a lot of siblings, so okay, again, that makes sense. But yeah, she loves amusement parks, gets her going.
Mm-hmm. And then it's like, oh my god, I love this. Then we have Moxie stepping like, okay, let me try to do this. And then he just becomes the butt of the joke, the focus of the scene.
That
So,
that I have to say is like my least favorite thing, my least favorite scene in like the entire show so far. Her just getting excited over like that plushy thing. It
mhm.
was like, because I feel like at times Millie, if you replaced Millie with anyone else, if Moxie just had a different wife of a different name, she's replaceable. I hate to say that too.
Mm-hmm.
It,
Interchangeable.
yeah, interchangeable is better the word.
Yeah, that's 100% thing. Like the big one for me was that she was super excited to see it go on a ride. I was like, okay, let's go see this. She's gonna be all for it. Moxie's gonna be like terrified of the roller coaster. Then it just skips a roller coaster just to straight to Moxie like throwing up. I'm like, oh, so we don't get any like her being excited or something. It's just straight to Moxie ain't shit. He's like, I do feel like that is the general trend. Is like Millie will hype something up or be excited about something. Moxie will screw it up, and that's where the comedy comes from. But it shifts the focus again away from Millie to Moxie. And I feel like this show overall does run on the it's the Blitz and Moxie show. Well, heavily it's the Blitz show,
It's his world, and we're just all living in it.
which is perfectly fine. I do love Blitz.
I enjoy him. He's so complex, but just so stupid, but just so funny. Blitz is all over the place.
I feel like he's a more complicated Roger from American Dad is the best way to describe him. He
Hey,
definitely has that fun psychopath energy.
I'm here for it. I'm here for both of them.
But yeah, from the rest of the scene, like I don't think they have anything else like really throughout that episode. Like we find out the game is fully rigged. Millie misses the shot just so like then the park employee can hit on her, and she's just like not cool with it. But then immediately we get interrupted by Blitz and his fight with the robot demon.
Yeah, with
And
the little carnival thing, I feel like this might be a nitpick, but she can't shoot a target that's right in front of her with a toy gun, but can
yeah,
snipe a headshot from who knows how far away.
yeah, that made no sense.
That made no sense. Like, if it was Moxie who did it, yeah, that would make more sense. The weapons expert, gunman. But, like, Millie?
Mhm.
She doesn't really. Well, she uses a lot of knives.
I feel like he could have easily just done it if she was like, "Oh shucks, I missed." Like clearly he's trying to make Moxie feel better by missing intentionally.
That is so something she probably would have done.
But they never hint at it, so I can't really even give them that out. It's just like, no, she missed, just so we can have the vendor intentionally rig the game even more.
Oh, and at the end of the episode, this took like 3 watches for me to notice. After they get all like exploded and stuff, she gets dragged away by this chupacabra looking thing. I'm like, wow, way to really feed her to the dogs.
I mean, it's on brand. But yeah, I didn't notice that actually.
Well, if that does
All
it
right,
for 2,
next up,
Spring Broken.
where she's at her most competent. Though again, it is very much the action does feel like the background of that episode. Like, okay, no, we have this action scene going on, but it kind of also feels like the least important part of the episode. Where again, she's like, okay, no, we're gonna when like Blitz is off doing his argument thing with Luna, she's really like, okay, no, M&Ms, we got this. And then we get a quick montage of them because Millie does things in the show, but when she does things, it's always almost either as a unit or does it for Moxie. She's yet to have that one thing where like, no, I'm gonna go do this on my own. It's always either unit or supporting the husband.
That's like the double-edged sword of having a couple characters who are couple, but a couple characters. It's like you
Mhm.
either do it with them or not at all. You're always seen as a pair. They're the M&Ms. They're the adorable couple. Moxie
Which
can
I
be
do.
independent, but not
Mhm.
without Millie.
But Millie can't.
Which,
And
which is weird because she's like the more independent one.
she's okay with everything. She's super easygoing. Whereas Moxie is the straight man of the group, so he is going to overreact to things, which we can draw comedy from. It's very hard to draw comedy from someone who's like super okay with all the random shit going on.
And even at the beginning, she just gets a little sidelined until she gets that fight scene with the fish. Blitz tells her, like, Millie, go park the car. We don't get to see her. I'm pretty sure if Millie saw Moxie get harassed by those, like, succubuses, she would have torn all sorts of heads loose.
She would have just gotten the shotgun and the knife and just ran in there.
Oh, I would have paid such good money to see those animators pull that off.
Trying to think of like what else she does because she does react to Blitz having been formerly in a relationship with Ross, is like, what was the sex like? And there's like, Moxie just like immediately is the one who turns into like, how can you ask that? He's like, it's a celebrity. You want to ask for so and so country singer. And again, it's like she has a question and immediately becomes a couple thing.
So now we know Millie's a bit of a freak. That's kind of predictable for all of them since they're in hell. But like, all right, she got a bit more of a freaky side to her.
Oh no, I feel like she would totally be down for a three-way blitz. I feel like she would be like, oh, this is fine. Moxie is the one who's like not making this happen.
Yeah, I can see that. But she did extort Veronica at the end, at least. She has her wits about her.
Which, yeah, great scene for her. It also still feels that every time, like, when she's doing the action scene, it is very much, okay, she's being cool, but look how funny drunk Moxie is.
She had to save drunk Moxie. She loves her husband, and we love to see that. But it's like, damn it, woman, who were you before you got married?
Well, she, as we find out in the later episodes, she has a body count, apparently.
Millie is just a killer. She's just a ruthless killer. I can imagine like her teen years was just her hella rebelling and just murdering left and right. I bet Moxie chilled her out.
Also, I feel like she's been on the same level, but she's honestly probably like, no, let's be professional about things. Let's not like murder's all fine and good, but I need to at least get paid for it now.
Yeah, she's really does not like the question of like freelance. That's a bit of a tension.
That doesn't raise a question for me. What were they doing before? Because it definitely feels like you all. So it implies either her and Moxie were originally like working for somebody else that wasn't Blitz, or the three of them were all working with a different business before they split off to form Imp.
Murderers for commission.
I mean, yeah, that's what basically they are now.
Next episode is the lackluster one with the cherubs.
Oh yeah, that one.
See, it's so forgettable.
Yeah, people was like, I made this comment that that episode would have been better received if it happened early in the series, because it is very a standard like, okay, no, we're gonna have these opponents and we're just gonna make fun of them vibe to it, and that's just very standard for the show. It doesn't have that extra spice to make it interesting. Which Millie in this episode, I feel like this one at least, Moxie and Millie are just the couple. Neither of them really get like, Moxie doesn't really do anything outstanding. Millie's they're both together. I feel like I'd rather have them be less of a characters together than have Moxie just always be the one to have things going on and Millie to always be in the background.
I don't know if it's with Millie's dialogue or anything, but when she's speaking, I think this is the episode where she like spoke the most and swore the most. Like, she's been dropping F-bombs left and right. Again,
yeah, she does have that. She has that amazing one line on the Angel. That's when it just ends with "you tit having bitch." Yeah. I was like, okay, no, that's a great line. But I feel like that's the only Millie line I've actually remembered. So I feel like I can quote at least a few lines from each of the characters, but that's the one from Millie, besides the most recent episode. I'm like, oh no, I'm going to remember that one. But we do have to respect the game that those two decide to hook up as the middle of their firefight.
That was fucking nuts.
I was like, okay, well, this is violent, this is bullets everywhere, but good for them. Keeping that marriage alive.
Hell yeah, you can tell there's passion in their hearts. Now let's get to the country episode. Where I honestly thought was going to be a Millie episode, but I just was like, how you gonna shaft her when we meet her family? Damn.
Well, easy. You make it less laborious. You establish them immediately what the parents are like. Ignore that. Then you immediately make this about Moxie being a beta male.
And meets alpha male striker, which I'm glad they avoided the whole, is he gonna like flirt with Millie and the parents are gonna try to set her up. Oh my god. That's such a good idea to just nip that in the bud. We're not doing that a lot.
I 100% thought that was where they're gonna go with this episode. The second those two got introduced together, I was like, oh, your parents have been talking about you. I was like, oh, for the love of Christ. And then they're like, I was like, Susan moved away from that. I was like, I don't know if that's what made me more okay with this being a Moxie trying to step up episode, is the fact that they teased the fact that it was going to go in this other direction that I absolutely did not like. So having them switch, I'm like, okay, no, I'm way more okay with this. It fills in a lot of Millie's backstory, even though it does combine, like, okay, no, we're going to explore, like, the Ring of Wrath a little bit. It's doing a lot of world building all around in this episode. So, like, the things that we learned about Millie happen early on, and then it just, like, okay, we're going to let her be violent. She's going to get the big speech, for the first time, be a little bit, like, overwhelmed with her husband. She's like, Moxie's like, oh, yeah, I have a gun. And she's like, I love you, but for fuck's sake. And then it's like, okay, no, that's great, leave. And it's like, okay, Moxie's being supportive support of her is standing up for himself, completing his arc. But again, Millie's moved back to a supportive role.
Her getting her leg caught in that bear trap, it's like, oh, come on, you did that so she couldn't get out, because she was literally this close. She was like so close to slitting Stryker's throat that I thought she was gonna do it. I thought, oh, this is gonna end quick.
Like, the animators went in sicko mode on Millie just attacking Stryker. I was like, oh, this is intense now. And then he just slams her against the wall and she's out cold. I didn't realize, like, on the rewatch, like, oh, she went down really quickly.
Exactly. Like, you're right. She is like a glass cannon, but like then some. She's like, oh, Millie, for a combat expert, you'd think you'd have like more stamina or like protect your neck.
Because, like, I do love her family, though, and the dynamic it brings to the episode, where we, like, country tough is just the way her family is. I'm like, that makes 100% sense. Like, I would absolutely believe that. And the fact that she has a neighborhood head count was like, okay, can we just get Teen Millie now? Like, I want that backstory. Like, it's an episode where I'm like, I want to learn more about this character, and I'm not getting it. Like, I want the flashbacks, and I never say that.
And, like, she has siblings. She has brothers and sisters. Like, I imagine Millie came from a big family since they're, like, farmers. Like, where is that? We only see, like, one little brother in the background dragging a dead body, and we see Sally Mae, her sister, and I think we saw one other, like, male imp in the background when they were packing up to leave. I'm like, where the family at? This is a farm. I expect to see like dozens of kids.
I think they did on Twitter release like the names, like images of each of the siblings, and there was like 8 of them or something like that. I can't say for certain though, because I remember there was like just, it said multiple siblings. So I was like, oh, okay, no, that makes sense. Just none of them are in the show. But it is like, again, it's a hard thing where I do love the M&Ms together. I like Millie. I like Moxie. But Millie does get the short end of the stick consistently in the show. And I really just want her to have that one episode just all about her. Give Spring Breakers, but for Millie, pretty much.
Yeah, I would love to just see her motivation that comes from an outside source, or maybe start a bit more of a conflict with someone else in the company. Or like, I just feel like if Millie and Moxie ever do decide to have a kid, I don't want that to be her new motivation, because it's bad enough that she's devolved into like supportive wife. Now y'all are just gonna put her in the hole of like supportive mother, and like she could still be a badass and a mother, but it's like that's the thing they're gonna rely on, like mommy Millie.
Because I feel like that'd be almost hilarious, because I feel like if she's this violent now, the Millie we see like when she's attacking Stryker would just be the Millie we always see when she has her child. And I think I'd be kind of down for that, because I feel like if you just look at the kid wrong, she's going to shoot out your eye.
Definitely. And I feel like at the end of that episode, Millie should have been there for like that the confrontation between Stryker, Blitz, and Moxie. And I know Blitz and Moxie, they had a dog in that fight, but Millie, like, this guy comes in and like betrays the trust of her family. That's personal. You in her family crib, how you gonna do that? She had every right to like be in there, but no, too OP, she's too frail, anyway, we gotta put her on the sideline to give the boys some time to shine again.
And then bring in Luna to fuck everything up.
For that comedic punch, let Moxie just have his moment, damn it.
I also feel like Millie was taking like shit from her parents at the end just a little bit too much. And she was like, how can you let that happen? That guy take you down like that? And she's like, I feel like she was like, are you, what the fuck are you talking about? Like I was expecting like a bigger reaction out of her.
She was like, I was seeing red and he was slippery. And I'm like, no, I rewatched that fight. He wasn't as slippery. You were just shafted hard. You just got knocked against the wall. You almost had him. You were this close. You had him. You just gotcha.
Exactly. I also feel like this is the episode where they low-key kind of hint the fact that Stryker killed the previous farmhand. Because they mentioned like, oh yeah, last week, just out of nowhere, a twister happened, and we lost a farmhand, so now we've hired this guy who just so happens needs to use our house for an assassination attempt. I'm like, that timing seems a little too perfect. That made me think maybe Stryker killed the guy. It made it look like the accident.
I would believe it. He'd probably set it up.
Yeah, I just want Millie to get that one episode all about her. That's really all she needs, I feel. Because, like, Luna was in a similar situation at the beginning. She does get a lot more comedic beats to her. I feel like Millie just needs that one episode. Like, okay, no, let's go make this a Millie story. Let's flesh out her character, show like, who she is. And now, like, give us a lot more context and enjoy, like, her character when she is just being a little bit more of the supportive side in the rest of the episodes.
What more can we have from this Southern drawl, Southern belle type character? There's a lot of wasted potential and whatnot, but you know what, maybe we'll see something in episode 6 that'll make us both have egg on our face. I would love to be proven wrong, to just make 100%. Millie, making her stand out, let her have her breakout moment, and just let Moxie fucking have his own badass moment. cutting it close with like comedy.
I feel like Moxie's fun enough that okay, he can be the comedic type. I do feel like in that last episode, like you could let him be a badass just a little bit longer. But in general, Moxie can stick to comedy. While I feel like Millie just needs to have that oh no, holy shit, she is so cool moment on top of having more interactions with the people around her.
So would you call her? We know underutilized.
Hmm.
I don't want to say she's underrated, just underutilized.
I'd agree to that. I think like you could call her underrated if she wasn't the couple with Moxie, because if she was just like a second girl, the girl member of the team, everyone's just like, why the fuck is she here? But because she does get like the couple moments, she does feel like, okay, no, she's involved. She gets these cool moments where she's helping Moxie. But if you strip those away, what she does on her own just is neither memorable nor does it really stick. It doesn't really like it doesn't add to the comedy and in the action parts are memorable enough to really like justify to me like okay no she's like the third anchor of this team where she is the badass of the group underneath Blitz, but from like the two stories we gotten where it's Moxie trying like okay no, I need to step up. Millie's all that always instigates that. She's either the one telling Moxie to step up or the one Moxie is trying to stand up for, but we never see Millie have her own like arcs in the story.
And I don't want to like, some people are just gonna think a little too deeply and be like, oh, Vivzy Pop has this like main cast of characters, they're all great, but like the one cast member who just so happens to be voiced by a black woman is being shafted. Oh, how could she No, no, no. It's
Yeah.
just poor writing.
No, they just made it again. It is very much the Blitz show. Moxie is the straight man to Blitz's comedy, so those two naturally are gonna butt heads and get time together. Then you have Luna, who also gets moments with Blitz. And again, Blitz and Millie are very similar, and they don't really have that much conflict. So it kind of leaves her being the second fiddle whenever it comes to these comedic moments. So it just leaves less opportunity for her to stand out. That's really just the problem. There are less opportunities for Millie to stand up as a character compared to the rest.
Agreed. I wish maybe an episode or just a time where Millie has to work with Luna, and it's like because I feel like Luna's the only one she would have some sort of conflict with, or just won't be as agreeable with. Yeah, especially from like the pilot, she's like, "What? Why were you drinking on a work night?" Calling her a bitch when she said Moxie is easy to manage. Like, yeah, let's dive more into that. Why? Not like I don't want to have a cat fight between office women, but just like God, give Millie something.
And also dig into the fact that yes, part of the reason she likes Moxie is that he is easy to manage. She's a strong Southern belle, and he's kind of just the weak theater boy. And she just finds that yeah, this is easy to work with.
It's cute. They're cute. They're adorable. Would
They are.
love to see like. I wonder how they
I love
met.
I love the music video that they did, and it's also the ending to the pilot. It is just adorable fun, and I love it. And it's part of the reason like I love them as a couple, but I do feel like Millie needs more moments for herself.
Couldn't agree more. Because I feel like when it comes to the characters, I can list off just quick attributes about them. Like, oh yeah, I like Blitz. He's chaotic. He's crazy. Stolas has an interesting sex drive. He's a father. Wants to be a good father. Luna, there's a bit more to her.
His wife's trying to kill him.
Angsty. Yep. Moxie, soft theater boy. Millie. Come.
Supportive, loving.
Yeah.
She's Southern.
Yep. She sure is. That's much as I can list about her. Nothing too specific, though.
Yeah, that's about it for Millie, sad to say. Like, again, I do love her. Love the voice actress. I love her parts in the story. But god damn it, she just needs her own episode.
We love her. We love her so much. That's why we want the best for her. She just needs more screen time.
And hopefully screen time that isn't cat fights or love triangles. Because god damn it, we don't need another Asamia in this picture. Which, yes, that is the most accurate character in Korra to compare Millie to.
Oh no, you're right. And they're both like red vixens who can kick ass, but it's like, you're here. Be useful or not. I don't care. Oh no. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, Sarcastic Chorus, for sitting down and talking with me about Millie, because I feel like I feel like I didn't want to be like I'm going insane. Is she underrated? Could she be utilized? I don't know. Thank you for just hashing it out with me.
Oh, no worries. It's fun. Love to be on the channel.
Love to have you back again someday. And please, everyone follow Sarcastic Chorus. You're underrated as hell. I love your videos. Great use of your
Thank you.
sarcasm.
I mean, that's not really sarcasm. I'm completely straight in everything I say. But everyone believes it, so might as well go work with it.
Love it. Like Blitz says, you got an idea, capitalize on it.
I thank you all for watching. This has been Sarcastic Chorus. Again, why am I even here? Because I fucking love this channel, so you need to subscribe right now to her. Her channel is fucking amazing, and you guys need to be watching her stuff. Please subscribe to Artist TV.
Oh, psh, go on. Go on. Okay, thank you so much, Sarcastic Chorus. Y'all need to be watching his channel. Hella underrated. He just hit like over 50k. Proud of that. And watch more Helluva Boss. Support this independent animation.
And you gotta support the independents.
Yes.